any of the monkey was asked, what was the reason why you're beating the other monkeys? Then the answer of the monkey would be that I don't know what is the reason. This is how things are done around here. Right now, this is a very important question. Why I place this story at the beginning is that normally what happens is that in research also this is the same trend that is going on. In educational institution scenario also this trend is going on, that here this is happening, and this will happen like this only. Whether it is publication, whether it is research, whether it is institutional ethics, whether it is the way the institution functions, everywhere there is a top slogan kept that I don't know what is happening around here, but this is how things are done around here. So if you want to actually grow in research, you will have to change this perception, right? So this is where actually I just wanted to share this story with you. Now I'm just going to the actual part of research. So I hope this is an interdisciplinary, because I can see a lot of faculties from management stream, also from maybe computer science also. So it's an interdisciplinary mix of faculties. That's what I get. So I would not be focusing upon any particular stream, but I would be just generally talking about how to write a research paper, how to write a quality research paper, and how to actually deal with plagiarism. Okay, now is the screen visible? I had got some connectivity issues in between.
Sir, it's visible now, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. So like most of them who started with the research, that they are more confused. Where do we begin? The more I think, the more confused I get. So this is the general perception of any new person who is entering research. The only thing here to be kept in mind is that research is nothing but actually continuous study of what has been done and what can be improved upon, identifying the gaps and actually working on removing those gaps is basically called research. So as simple as that. So if I go for the definition, I'm just going through the basics first, and then I'll be going on to the actual content that I would like to share. So research, you might have already covered this in the earlier sessions, but I just want to have a small change here in the things that I want to highlight, and then we'll go on to the actual portion. Research is a systematic approach to obtaining and confirming new and reliable knowledge. Now here normally what happens is that people, what they do is, most of the scholars or most of them who have started with research, they are thinking that okay, research is just data collection. So it is not that. Just collecting papers is not enough. You have to go through those papers. You have to have your own view of those papers, the processes, the strategies that have been discussed, and then you will be coming up with something novel which has been not identified in that research, or some gap you would be removing. So that is basically what is research. So research is not accidental discovery, right? Some people think like instead of America, India was discovered, or instead of India, America was discovered. So this is not accidental discovery. It is not data collection. It is not searching out published research results, right? Now, many times it happens that people, I have seen this many times happening. Like I was attending one of the sessions when I was pursuing my PhD at that time. So I found out that one person who had attended the research workshop along with me, he was saying that I already have a research thesis of uh, State Bank of India. It was in the commerce field, and State Bank of India performance and how it can be, some analysis he was doing out of it. I don't remember the exact topic right now, but it was long back. So he was telling that I have statistics of 2000 to 2005, and I'll be making from 2005 to 2010, and I'll be submitting in 2010. So I have to just change some statistics, and that's enough. So this is not basically what is research. Again, the criteria for research is very different. Every people, I mean, each person has a different way of doing research. Each person has a different motive for doing research. But normally research is a process which should always be creative, which should be planned and managed, and it should be circular. Circular means it should be leading to always more questions. So in short, I would like to emphasize that research objectives should be summarized as SMART, or research objectives are SMART. SMART here, S stands for specific. That means you should have specific objectives out of it. Now, many times what happens is that some people have a lot of objectives kept in the research. They have 8 to 10 objectives kept in their research proposal. So normally whenever any scholars come up with such a proposal, we tell them that keep it minimum 1, maximum 3. Not more than 3 objectives should be there in the research. Because when you're going for more than 3 objectives, you're going to consume a lot of time in doing research. And the second thing is that you would not be having the resources for performing all the tasks at one go. So this is one thing which is a specific goal requirement, specific objective should be defined. Second is measurable. What do you mean by measurable? Here means that you should be able to measure it in real time, whether it is possible or not. Many times we have a lot of research objectives which are not measurable. So you have to be realistic in your measurable objectives, and they should be implementable. Again, what I mean by implementable is that if you are trying to focus upon some image processing algorithms, I am from an IT background, so I would just like to focus upon image processing algorithm. Now, there should be some objective where that algorithm that you are developing is going to perform better on the criteria laid down by previous algorithms, or they may be able to perform, give you a better efficiency as far as the results are concerned, better accuracy. All this is measurable criteria. So that measurable criteria should there. You cannot say that this is very good. My algorithm is very good compared to the other. Now that is not a measurable criteria. Very good can differ from person to person. Just like it happens many times that students coming out of the exam room when they are giving the exams, we have just concluded the exams at Rai University for the second and third year and fourth year students. So when they're coming out of the class after giving the exams, we ask them, then some students say that, sir, it was perfect. The paper was very nice. We enjoyed it. We wrote a lot. Other student, one girl, she came out, she was saying that it was not at all, I mean, good. I could not, I missed 10 marks. So I attempted only 60 marks out of 70, right? Now, this is the criteria that they have for measuring their performance. Now, when the result comes, ultimately we find out that the person who has said it was very good is obtaining just passing marks or 50% marks, and the girl who said that it was very bad and I missed 10 marks, she is getting maybe 55 out of 70. So this is measurable criteria. We don't have enough resources to measure, then we should not be going for those objectives. So always research should be measurable in the real sense. It should be achievable, and achievable within a time frame. Time bound is one more criteria which I have kept, because I have seen many research scholars leaving their research because they are not having realistic results with them. They are not having achievable, even the proposal selection, right? I'm not going to dwell on that topic right now because I have not been assigned the topic. But when you're selecting a project proposal, a research proposal, at that time, if you keep too many things in that proposal, and if you're not clear, if you're not comfortable with that proposal, in India, it happens that proposal is made within 2 or 3 days. Whereas in many of the foreign countries, reputed universities in foreign countries, what they do is that they only allow the research topic to be selected if the person has worked at least 2 years on that topic. Then only that person can undergo research in that topic. So that difference between the way we are looking at research, the mindset of research, that is very much different in India comparatively. I'm not saying when I say in India, I don't say that the entire India is doing that, but 80% of them are following this kind of a way where they just want to complete their research, they want to get promotions. So that is the reason why they get frustrated when they are not able to meet the objectives, when they think that okay, the it is not moving as fast as they wanted it to move, because some people are saying that okay, I want to complete within 2 years or 3 years. What is the minimum time period? I want to complete the research, I want to get my degree. But they are not thinking about what is actually going into the as far as the efforts are concerned, as well as what is the output of that research. So achievable is very important. It should be achievable, and you should be also comparing it with what you had first targeted and what you have achieved after your research is over. Then comes relevant. It should be relevant. It should be relevant to the theme. Just like I told you that that person, the gentleman who was doing on the SBI, that he was doing his research on SBI performance. Now, it happened that he was working on the results already done by somebody else for previous years. Same he is carrying forward for different years. Now that is not relevant enough because it does not make any change to the performance of SBI. They will not be using that data or that research details for any betterment of their performance. So again, this is not relevant according to me. So relevance here means that it should be used, it should be applicable, it should be applied in the way that people accept it and people realize that this is what the research is all about. And last one is time bound. So as I told you that there should be a specific time. Some people continue research for 7 years and yet they don't know what they're doing. So that is not time bound. You should have a specific span regarding when you'll be completing each task. Literature review, starting from research proposal to literature review to writing a paper, that is a comparative paper first, and then going on for some kind of detailed review where they are going to develop some algorithm or develop some method or develop some strategy. So this is what I say is a time bound where you have deadlines and you're meeting those deadlines. And the problem here with most of us, when I say most of us, because when I started my research, actually, I mailed, I did my research in the field of image steganography, that is text steganography to be very particular. So I wanted to hide text within text. Now, when I did this, I contacted more than 200 authors because 200 papers I downloaded. More than 50%, 60% were from abroad, those papers, reputed papers. I contacted them and I asked them regarding the tool, regarding what all things they faced, challenges, and I wanted some more details about their experiments. Right? Nobody had specified which tool they had used in the paper. So all this, when I asked them, I received only one reply. 200 mails I had sent, one reply I received from foreign author saying that it is my research work and I don't want to share anything with you. Other 199 people, including Indians and people, researchers from abroad, did not even care to put a reply by mail. So this is the kind of collaboration that we are, rather I experienced when I was doing my research. I don't know now, things might have changed then, because I have been collaborating with people like in the last 2 years. I have collaborated. I have done a lot of expert talks. I have written a lot of uh, books, edited books, and in that most of the collaborators have been different people, different experts from across India as well as abroad also. I have had editors, co-editors with me. So I am feeling that that collaboration has started, but I don't know to what level in the research work by the PhD scholars the collaboration is there, because normally we keep everything secret, we don't share with each other, and ultimately we just want to submit the thesis and get the degree. So that is a big problem that is there, and time bound is what I would like to emphasize here. So again, as I told you, what drives you to research? First one is degree. It is important, but it is not the sole thing. Some people, 10%, I would like to say, have a desire to face the challenge in solving the unsolved problems. They want that, okay, this is something which I want to work upon. This is my work area where I have a passion for this work. So I will do and complete and solve that problem. So that is 10%. Another 5 to 10% are desire to get intellectual joy of doing some creative work. They enjoy when they do some creative work. So that is another 5 to 10%. So maximum 20% desire to be service of society. So all inclusive, second, third, and fourth criteria is 20%. 80% want for either pay hike, job promotion, desire to get respectability or degree. So this is where we are facing the problem. This is where the actual research is disturbed. Now coming on to main criteria that I wanted to discuss today, how to write a paper, right? Now it depends upon what you want to be written in that paper. That means what is the quality of the paper that you want. If you are aiming to write a high quality paper, which can be for an SCI index journal, the structure would be the same, but the content would be different. If you're aiming at Scopus index or Web of Science index publication, the structure would be the same, but the method would be slightly different. If you're planning for a UGC CAR, it would be different. But if if you're actually thinking about just publication in any journal, then probably this is a very easy format to follow and you will not have any problems in publication because most of the journals are ready to publish anything that is given by the author, subject to that the plagiarism is below 20%, right? As you go for higher quality publications, the requirement goes up. That means if you go for Scopus, it comes to below 15%. If you go for SCI, it comes to, in some SCI journals, they're asking for 8%, below 8%. In some, it is below 10%, and some it is below 3%. And single source plagiarism should be below 1%. Single source means from one source, only 1% plagiarism is allowed, not more than that. So that is for SCI and high quality publications that you require. But when you go for writing any paper, first of all, you should be discussing or deciding the title of the paper. Then comes the abstract, then keywords, then introduction, related work, system model and problem statement, methods of solution. Again, this can vary according to the field that you are in. Suppose if I say that simulation and experiments, that may not be applicable to somebody from a literature domain or maybe from management side. Instead of that, methods and solutions may be implemented. System model and problem statement, that would be common for all. So there may be slight variance depending upon which particular field you are doing research in, but this is roughly the format that you should be following for a paper. Conclusion, acknowledgement is not compulsory, but it is better if you acknowledge the people who have helped you out in your research. And references, very important task is the references, right? Now, how much time, this is just an open question to, if anyone wants to answer it, they can just unmute themselves and they can reply, or they can reply in the chat box, but unmute and that would be better. How much time does it take for any person? Like, how much time do you take for writing a research paper?
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Can I
Yeah,
tell,
good
sir?
afternoon. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, first we have to select a conference where we have to present the paper, and then most probably, if we are interested in going ahead with the conference paper, we can go ahead. But then conference paper, if we have to give, they give us deadlines from the organizers. And
Right.
for the journal paper, sir, we may take from 5 to 6 months. Minimum we can take 3 months, but maximum it takes 6 to 7 months to write a very good journal paper, including data and all. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, fine. Very true. Actually, there are two ways of getting your paper published. One is through a conference. This is a shortcut actually, and one is through a journal paper, which takes more time. Now, one more last question before I start with the other topics is that do you wait for the conference to be declared and you get the details, then you start working on the paper? Or do you prepare the paper and keep it ready for the conference whenever, you get time?
Sir, can I answer, sir? Sir, actually, we already select the topic, and then the paper is halfway or something like that. Then we select the conference. At least I think I am a very newbie. I am almost a layman in the field of research. I have just registered in PhD. So I think that we should already think in mind what kind of paper we are going to present. Then we keep on searching that which are the national or international conferences that are coming across. Then the conference which completely suits the topic that you have selected for your paper, you can go ahead with the submission, then the PPT presentation, and then as and whenever the organizers tell, you can submit the conference papers.
Right. See, it may take around 2 to 6 months at least to prepare a review paper. Not get it published. Now, why I'm saying this is that because most of the times the people or the authors, or researchers, academicians, they don't have time. There is a deadline, as ma'am said, that there is a deadline for submitting a conference paper. Suppose right now conference is announced and they say that, okay, June 30th is the deadline. Now you have hardly 14 days for making a paper. So some people manage it, some prepare a paper in whatever sense they make it, and then they submit it. And unfortunately, it gets selected also and it is published also. So this raises the kind of preparation time reduction that people are using for making a paper. So this is actually, you can say, a sad thing that I would say in research, that so many conferences are happening. Actually, conferences happening, more conferences happening is a good thing. But now what we are seeing is that because these conferences are happening at a very short frequency, and there are many conferences, there are many papers being submitted. So the deadline for submission or preparation of the paper has also gone down considerably. People are completing the paper within 2 days also. I have seen some people who actually, some researchers, I would not like to call them researchers, but yeah, they are people who are doing research, and they complete the paper within 2 days and they submit it, and that is selected for a conference, and it is published, unfortunately, in a Scopus publication also, or Web of Science publication also, through that conference. That's why I said that conference is a shortcut to publication. You can get the publication done very fast if you have a conference paper. It may take anywhere between 1 year, actually 3 months to 1 year. But normally people get it done within 3 to 4 months if it is through a conference. And whereas for a journal, it is where a credible journal, they go through all the formalities. The review process itself takes around 4 months, 5 months. Then review changes are suggested. This continues, and ultimately it may take close to 1 year or more than 1 year for that particular paper to be published. Now the problem here is that why this short span is preferred by researchers is because most of them are doing their PhD, or they have to show that this public, suppose if, say, I'm a professor over here, similarly there may be many faculties who are already done their PhD. They don't have time to prepare a paper, that much time to prepare a paper. So, but they have to show that these many publications I have in this year. So while filling the appraisal form, especially during June, this mad rush is there for publication. Today morning itself, I received around 2 calls from different people whom I don't know. Actually, they are, I got their call from maybe through LinkedIn. They might have got in contact. They were asking me that, sir, any fast publication within 1 month, at least I can get acceptance before 30th June. I saw their paper. It was not worth publishing. I said, no, I don't have any contacts. So this is the scenario which is actually disturbing the entire research fraternity. This is why actually right now AICT and UGC and a lot of other bodies are coming up with rules which are laid down for research paper publication. But this is again become a business where a lot of, I'll be talking about that in the later part of my presentation. But this is the structure of a paper which we call as, which needs to be followed. Now, what should be the title like? Now, one more question. Is the title decided first, or is the abstract decided first?
Title, sir.
Title. Okay, fine. Okay, great. Actually, some people prepare the abstract and then they name. It is fine as long as you are comfortable with whatever method you're following. But according to me, also the title should be chosen first, because you should be knowing what you are going to deliberate upon, and then you prepare the abstract of it. So title should be very specific and not too broad. Sometimes it is a two-lined title. Try to keep it as short as possible, as specific as possible. Don't keep long titles, because there may be chances that that title may give a different meaning to the entire paper. So the shorter and specific the title is, the better. The title should be substantially different from others. Some people I have seen, they copy the title also from another paper and keep it as their title. So that is not advisable. Keep your own title. It should be substantially different from others. There should be no plagiarism in the title at least. So like there are a lot of title examples that I've given from different IEEE and different other papers, journals. So topology control. Topology control for multi-hop wireless networks. Now this is a short title. We can make it longer also if you want, but we want short titles which are preferable. Avoid general or big titles. Now many times it happens that some research on job assignment in cluster computing. Now this is a very broad title. You are not specifically stating anything. So this would not be preferred when you are searching for and this will actually lead to less citations of your paper also, because many people may be searching specific topic within the cluster computing or within the job assignment. So they are not favoring so many such a broad topic to be the title. So they may not go into your title. They may not even see your paper. So this is something which you should be keeping in mind while you're framing the title. A new framework for distributed computing. Now this can be one title. Distributed computing is a very big topic. And what is a new framework all about? Nothing you're saying. So this is not advisable. This is such kind of research on data mining. Now data mining is a very huge topic. It contains a lot of internal topics. So you should be as specific as possible. Now when you write an abstract, next is an abstract. Now whenever I am reading a paper, right, I have some experience of research. So from that angle, if I am reading a paper, I will read the title, abstract, keywords. I will skip the introduction. I'll go to the literature review and the method or proposed method if it has been discussed, and the conclusion. Right? This much I would be reading in detail if I am reading a paper to actually generate some interest out of that. So this is the only thing that I would be reading. I would not be going through all the other parts. So abstract is a very important component of the paper. So abstract, if it is not nicely written, it can lead to a lot of rejections of your paper. So abstract is a very important portion in your paper. Now use of abstract can be for search purpose. If anybody is searching, then if an abstract is matching with what they want, then it would be immediately reflected. So it should be based on that. Giving papers a paper summary before getting into the details. So many times what happens is that just like we read a newspaper, we read the first paragraph. Now that paragraph would convey what that particular news item is all about, right? First there is a title. If you find the title interesting, then you will go on to the abstract. If you find the abstract interesting, then you will go on to the entire paper. So the same thing applies. What we are doing for newspaper reading, the same thing applies for your paper also. So while you're reading your abstract, you need to have a paper summary kind of thing. You are actually just giving a crux that what you're going to discuss in the paper. So that should be written in the abstract. So abstract should tell a problem that the paper discusses. Now this problem should be not more than 1 or 2 sentences. Some people have one whole paragraph of problem which is discussed. Now that is not required. You can include that in introduction, but 1 or 2 lines of the problem background that you say that you can give over here, and the work that has been done or method being used, and what are the original findings or achievements that you are achieving. What is the criteria which you have given for comparison? That all can be mentioned in the abstract. So abstract should be very concise, not more than 1 or maximum 2 paragraphs. One paragraph is preferable, consisting of at least 12 to 13 lines, not more than that. An abstract usually does not have reference numbers. Now, some scholars, some papers which I get for review, right, because I am as a reviewer in various Scopus Index journals also, as well as various peer-reviewed journals. So, peer-reviewed, whenever you get a paper, some abstract contains reference numbers also. So that is not required, because abstract should be your original work. There should not be any plagiarism involved. There should not be any question of plagiarism getting into the abstract stage. And then multiple paragraphs. So as I told you that if it is too much, then you can extend one paragraph to 17 or 18 lines, not more than that. Otherwise, it should be within 15 lines. So don't have multiple paragraphs, because people don't like to read so much of the abstract portion. So this is about the abstract. Now, when you choose the keywords, some people randomly write the keywords. The use of keywords is normally for database search or categorizing your work for editors to choose reviewers. So many times it happens that if you write the wrong keyword, and if it goes to a reviewer who is not of your area, there are chances that he may reject your paper. He or she may reject your paper. So you have to be very careful while you're putting your keywords properly into the keyword part. Keywords must be specific and represent the main topic of the paper. Suppose we should be avoiding like simulation, calculus, all this should be avoided. Try to keep such keywords which are important for searching through different information from your paper. So keywords should be as concise as possible, and there should not be more than 7. 3 to 5 is preferable. Between 3 and 5, that is 4, would be ideal. But if you are more than 7 keywords, then it becomes too long. So maximum 7. Now, introduction, though I said that I would not be reading the introduction part, but if you are planning to submit it to a journal, you should be doing it because reviewer will be reading it, right? Also, those who are new to research, they will be reading your entire introduction, and it will be useful to them to understand your work also, because the background should be known before I suppose I am not from a management background. I'm not from, suppose, HR background. I am a management faculty, but I'm not from the HR background. Now, if I want to know something more about HR, this introduction part of the paper will give me what is actually HR, how it is managed. All these details would be covered there. So brief introduction of your topic area should be given there. Existing work, which would lead to importance or originality of your work, description of your problem, and achievement, significance, or brief methodology of work. Now, don't give details, too many details in the introduction, because then you would not be left with anything in your actual proposed work. So brief methodology, what you have worked, what kind of criteria you are going to compare. Just give a brief methodology of what work you are going to do. So this is something that the introduction should consist of. Now, if it is a journal paper, introduction should not be more than 1.5 pages. If it is if it's a conference paper, it should not be more than 1.5 pages. If it's a journal, then it can be more pages also if you think it is required. Because in journal, normally reputed journals don't give a kind of limitation of pages. But conference papers, when they are published in the proceedings or Scopus Index proceedings, etc., then they have a stipulation that 6 to 8 pages, not more than that. If more than 8 pages, then it is chargeable. So authors don't want to pay extra. So what they do is that for conference papers, we normally recommend a limit of 1 to 1.5 pages maximum of the introduction. If it is for a journal, it can be more. It can be 2 pages also, no problem. Now, how do you select your work? How do you select your reference or literature review? Like, first thing that I think, so literature review might be covered, but I just want to focus upon some aspects before going on ahead. How I used to do it is that during my research, I used to keep folders. Suppose like you are doing your research, you started your research in 2022. Then prepare folders of 2021 2020, 2019, 18 and 17, 5 years, right? 2022 would be one more folder which you'll be preparing. So 6 years in all, you have to prepare folders of different folders. And in that, whatever related papers you're getting, just store it in that respective folder. Suppose if I got a folder, I got a paper, IEEE paper in 2016, which was published, right, in my area of research, then 2016 related folder, I'll be keeping it. Now that will be helping you in maintaining your references and also maintaining the citations properly. So this is very useful when you are doing the work right now. Most of the scholars, what they do is that they don't go systematically while they are doing the research. So what they end up is that they end up with lot of papers all in one folder. And then they forget which paper they wanted to refer, which is the better paper, which is paper is required, which is not required, etc. So don't jumble all the papers into one folder itself. Go year wise, and if you get a preference, then you can give the reference also. In 2016 you can give one reference, 2016 you can give 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The name of the files can be given in such a manner that it is adapting to the references, so you don't get any kind of you are not confused when you are adding the references in your paper, because this is one part which some of the scholars do at the end. And at that time they get confused because the deadline is there. Aaj raat today evening, today by night 12 o'clock I have to submit, and I have prepared the paper. I complete it at 6:37. Then I sit for references. Then I don't know which reference I've taken from where. So that's searching, and then ultimately anyhow I prepare the references, put it, cite it anyhow, and then submit it. So this is how research is being done in most of the by most of the people. But this is not the right way, because this will create a lot of problems. Format I'm not going into, because format of references I think so has been covered. Different styles are there, how to refer, how to cite, different things are there that I'm not covering right now in my session. This is how you should be going for research. This again I'll skip, because this is one part which I think so would have been covered earlier. Literature review, I've already told you what you need to do. I'll just skip this part. What are the resources you should be using for your literature review? Books, journals, conference papers, dissertations, bibliographies, maps, internet, indexes or abstracts which are printed, electronic databases. So there are a lot of Shodhganga is one important source where you can use it for your literature review. You will get a lot of thesis, lot of material from there. Now, when you go for a paper, again, one more important thing which I have not written here is the conclusion part. Proposed methodology, of course, you would be describing it. Equations, you would be describing it. If you want a good quality journal publication, then you should be going for like depending upon your sector of or area of preference. Suppose if I say I'm from computer science, then I can give equations. I'm from mathematics, I can give equations. Physical equations can be there. Chemistry, some kind of bonding equations can be there. So such things should be there. That will give better credibility to your paper, better chance of getting it selected. But whenever we go for selection of paper, then I personally feel that when I am reviewing a paper, I see some criteria which is listed here. But other than that, what I really read is the abstract and conclusion, right? I match the abstract, that is what is to be discussed in the paper, that is written in the abstract, and in the conclusion, what has been achieved after that particular paper has been written, performance wise, criteria wise, what difference does it make, what are the different gaps, any future scope, that is mentioned in the conclusion. So again, conclusion should be normally one paragraph. Some journals admit 2 paragraphs, but one paragraph would be ideal. So that is what conclusions is all about. Now in conclusion, it should be directly mapped to the abstract. Whatever is discussed in abstract, the same result should be discussed in the conclusion. If there is a gap between that, then there are chances that your paper is rejected, because these are all the sensitive things that reviewers look for in your paper. So originality is the first thing. What is new about the subject? If you are talking about something that has been done in 2010, then nobody would be interesting, because the novelty of the work is not there. So novelty is missing. So novelty means nothing new about the work. It is old work only. You have just given it a makeover and then you have represented it. So nobody interested in that kind of a work unless it's a conference. Again, there are a lot of changes in the conference format and conference related things that are happening. Relevance to an extension of existing knowledge. If say uh, I want to know whether this particular experiment that I have done or this particular algorithm that I have developed, is it relevant right now? Is the topic relevant at all right now? I'm talking about say something related to um maybe DBMS, and right now big data analytics is going on. Now that relevance is not there at all. So how can I make it relevant? If I can't make it relevant, then I would not be selecting that paper for after review. So I would be rejecting that paper. So there are chances that this rejection can be there. Research methodology. Are the conclusions valid and objective? Again, many times it may happen that you may cook up results. So cooking up results means what? You don't know what is done actually. You just put some tables, equations or graphs, and then you say that my paper is ready. Now that is not the way the paper has to be written. So there will always be a counter checking. People who are checking your paper, reviewing your paper are knowledgeable people in that field. So they will know if you have picked up any kind of data. So that needs to be taken care of. Clarity, structure and quality of writing. Does it communicate well? Now here one major problem which at the international level Asia is facing is that there is a reputation among some of the international journals and international publications that, yeah, any doubt? Okay. There is a perception that from Asia, the English level of English quality is very low, so they are not preferred. Yeah, request to mute yourself, please. We can hear your voice. So English is a major problem, and that is why actually a lot of publications outrightly reject Indian authors whom they think they may be having English problems. They don't even send it to reviewers. They directly reject it within 2 hours. Elsevier is rejecting many of those papers written by Indian authors, Asian authors in particular. So within 2 hours you get the rejection. I don't know in 2 hours how they review the paper, but they normally go through the language and they say that this is not fit for even sending for review. So here again we need to work upon this. Some journals have a tie-up with the proofreading people, and they actually tell us that if you pay this much, we can change the entire setting of the language, and we can have better communication in the paper, better quality of writing, and then you have to pay for that. So that kind of a business also started. So I request that it should be your original language, it should be your original work that can lead to less plagiarism also, as well as selection chances are also very high. If you copy and paste, there are more chances that plagiarism is high, it will be rejected first of all. Or second, if it is copied and the language is not proper, again it can lead to rejection. So sound logical progression of algorithm of argument should be there. Now here it should be like a story. Whenever you are writing a paper, it should be like a story that we are moving from one particular sequence to another. It should not be that abruptly we are leaving something and talking about something else. So that is required in the particular paper. Currency of reference is very important, that you should not have references from one particular zone only. Many times it happens that you don't have other than IEEE, you don't have any other paper in the reference. It should not be like that. You should have different papers from different journals, different zones. Some may be published in India, some may be published in Europe, some may be published elsewhere. So have a right mix of papers so that you get a view of what is going on everywhere. You're not just locally thinking, because the kind of papers that you refer also gives the reviewer an idea that what type of review you're done, what kind of paper you're writing, etc. So very important that you go through a currency of references spread over different countries, and compliance to the editorial scope and objectives of the journal. Just recently it happened that we had submitted one paper in SCI journal, and it was returned back to us because it did not fall under the direct scope, even though indirectly we thought that it may be coming under that topic, but it does not come under the direct scope of it, so they are rejecting the paper. They are saying that we have not gone through the quality check, but we are just rejecting based on the editorial scope and objectives. So whenever you're going for any journal submission, just see whether your paper is matching, title and content are matching with the editorial scope and objectives of the journal. That's very important. So all this are the selection criteria that we go for when we are looking at a journal selection. Right? Any doubts in the paper writing? Because I'm directly interacting or interrelating it with plagiarism, so we'll be able to spend some more time on plagiarism and how to publish in which journal. That I just want to show you some online things that would be helpful to you. So if you have any doubts regarding paper writing, research paper writing, you can just ask. That portion we are just almost completing right now.
Sir, may I ask you one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, what is the ideal number of words for a paper that anybody wants to publish in a journal or in the conference journal?
See, I would not like to frame any ideal number of words, but each journal, if you're going for a journal, each journal has a separate format. So in that the font size may be different, the font style may be different, the spacing may be different. So exactly saying how many words is very difficult, but you'll have to go through the other to the particular journals, their format, and they have some kind of limitations, and that limitations you have to follow. Limitation of words maybe, or limitation of pages. Normally for a conference, I can tell you that 6 pages is the ideal length. It should be minimum 4 pages, and it can vary between 6 or 8. Some conference proceedings, they have a stipulation that more than 6 pages it is chargeable. Some have that more than 8 pages it is chargeable per page. So you'll have to decide based on the journal or the conference and what are the modalities that are mentioned there. Because when you go through any journal, the author guidelines are there. So once you go through the author guidelines, it will tell you what are the guidelines to be followed, what are the number of pages, what is the size. Because MDPI, like I would like to tell you, MDPI is very strict in it's a open access journal, but MDPI, they are very strict regarding the format also. If their format is also not matching with what you have sent in your paper, they will reject your paper and they will not give you a chance to even modify your paper and resend it. Some publication houses are little bit flexible, so it depends upon that.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, taking forward the information that you have given, sir. For example, if a journal asks 5,000 words, so will the abstract, the keywords, the references, and the tables and the appendices, everything will be included on those 5,000 words, or all these things are excluded, sir?
No, actually, other than the references, uh, most of the journals, actually, if they say 5,000 words, then it would be other than the references. Because they count references as separate and they would be checking it separately. Even for the plagiarism, they would not be included in the reference check. So that is separate. So other than the references, everything else would be included.
So, including the tables and the diagrams and whatever we want to
Yeah.
include, sir?
Yeah. It depends again. Tables, if they contain text, that would be counted. Otherwise, images would not be counted. Images would not be counted separately. But in tables, if text is there, then that would be counted.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Is there anybody? Any other participants? You can ask your doubts. Sir will clear it. Participants, is there any doubt from your side?
Fine. I think no doubts, ma'am. We'll continue ahead. Like plagiarism is an important term here. Why I'm telling important is because I have I have been involved in.
Sir, one more question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, myself, Dr. Sanjay Bhardwaj, and
Yes.
UP. Sir, I want to know about the plagiarism. Many students discuss, sir. I send a research paper, but he's saying that you are the plagiarism. But sir, many times I discuss and I give the many matters in my book. But after then the plagiarism. So how would they solve this problem?
Yes, sir. We are going to discuss that only. Actually, plagiarism is, I mean, because many times we have an habit like this. I would just like to say from school days. In colleges also we get assignments. We give students assignments. They copy the assignment from others. So for them, actually, copying is not an offense. Similarly, like suppose if in India you will find that we are using software.
Okay.
Most of them are not using licensed software. We are using direct cracks we are receiving from other people, and we are using it. So we don't consider that as an offense here, but actually it's an offense. So similarly here, what happens is that the plagiarism word is difficult for many of the researchers, starting researchers, to understand, because they think that okay, इसमें क्या है, यहाँ पे मैंने देखा और I have just copied it, I have pasted it, nothing else. But then actually you have not given credit to the person. So that is a bigger problem. If I am taking any particular details from you, I am taking one paragraph from your paper, and I am not attributing that credit to you anywhere, then obviously you will not feel comfortable, because you will say that it is my work, and how can he claim the credit for that without even acknowledging me? So this is where actually plagiarism starts, and it's a very serious offense. Now people have started taking it very seriously, and a lot of reputed educational professors, right,
Yes.
are getting punished by even losing their jobs. There are court cases going on. They are having imprisonment also, because they have not directly but indirectly.
मेरे दिमाग में क्या हवस की ये है अब
But
आपकी तबीयत ठीक नहीं गर्मी पे तो
Please mute.
they have indirectly actually been a part of it. Indirectly means what? That if suppose my scholar is there, my scholar is writing something, and now normally what happens is that our schedule is so busy that we, I mean, it should not happen, but in some cases it happens that we directly say, okay, आप submit कर दो, कोई बात नहीं. I, I have faith over you. There also again the problem can come, because if the plagiarism is not checked by the journal, it is not rejected or sent back, and it is published, and then the person whose work has we have taken the details from, the data from, and that person identifies that okay, this paper is using my content without acknowledging me, and if he goes to court, then there can be a problem against me, because I am the guide. It is for me to ascertain. The research scholar is definitely at fault, but I am also equally at fault. So it is very risky for us also. So when we are dealing with, when we are dealing with the plagiarism, we have to be very cautious regarding how we are proceeding. So what is plagiarism in particular? Plagiarism is where we are trying to steal and pass off others' information or ideas as our own, right? Which normally in India we say that until we are caught, it's fine, but then we should not be taking such a big risk to use another's production without crediting the source. So we are not crediting the source. We are not acknowledging anywhere that we have taken this statement or this data from somewhere else. To commit literary theft, right? It's just like hacking, you can say. To present as new and original idea of product delivered from derived from an existing source. So this is something which is called plagiarism. Now, what is the source of plagiarism or the reason of plagiarism? First one is that laziness. Right, we don't have the time, we don't want to put in the effort of, like I told you, that any paper normally should take anywhere between 2 to 6 months for preparing a review paper also, but sometimes it happens that within 2 days the paper is prepared. Now you cannot expect a better level of quality from the paper prepared in 2 days. So laziness is one of the reasons. You think that there's a shortcut, we can follow that shortcut, or comparison is what, that my colleague did it, he was not caught. So I am also not at risk. But laziness is the biggest problem, lack of enforcement. People think that they can get off, right? You can break one traffic signal, not get caught, but if you try to break the second signal, you may get caught. Somebody may not be caught, but you may be caught. So then we have to look at that aspect also. Lack of enforcement, lack of knowledge. I don't have knowledge about writing a paper. So what I do is that there is pressure that I have to submit the paper from my institution, from my guide. So anyhow, I prepare a paper, copy and paste and submit it. So that is lack of knowledge. Fear of failure, right? If I don't complete this, I will not get my dissertation complete for MTech students, right? Or if I don't submit this paper, I would not get my PhD degree. So that is fear of failure. Pressure to publish for career advancement. This is happening with even PhD completed researchers. Career advancement. Competition. There's a lot of competition all around. So if you don't do it, others will do it. So you think that, okay, it's better that I do the plagiarism and I get my paper published anyhow. And last one, but most important one is lack of time and planning. You are not able to manage your 24 hours. I mean, you are addicted to either mobiles or addicted to social media, movies, etc. And you don't find the time to do your actual work, that is research. And to influence others. Yeah, I have done this much publication. The same thing is happening right now in paid journals also. Like this is a business right now. I'm just trying to alert. The publication part is also a very big business. Some people say that many groups are there, WhatsApp groups, where such messages are floated that, okay, this paper is ready to publish. Author 1, author 2, author 3, this is the rate of the positions. And you can directly pay and you can be a part of it. So again, this is at your risk. People are doing it, they are not getting caught, but the day it explodes, it is going to become a big problem. And in India, last 2 years, I have found that this craze is increasing like anything, for patents also as well as for this also. So try to avoid this kind of thing. Now, type of plagiarisms, I will just go a little bit fast here. Complete plagiarism, where entirely you are copying from one source or more source. They are very lazy because they don't want to even go through 5 papers. So they go through 1 or 2 papers and entirely they copy the work and they submit it. So that is called complete plagiarism. Copy and paste, where some information from different internet or electronic journals are copied and they are pasted. Word switch, they are a little bit intelligent. What they do is that they copy a sentence or paragraph and then change a few words. But still that would be considered as a plagiarism, unless you give the citation or reference of that. Self-plagiarism, where you use your own words. Suppose I have written a paper in 2016. From that, I am directly copying some content and putting it in the paper in 2022. Do I need to cite myself? Yes. If it is not cited, it will be self-plagiarism. And I will say that, okay, it is my work. Who will go to court? The publisher can go to court. Because you fill a copyright form whenever you're submitting your paper to the journal or conference. At that time, copyright form means what? That you are actually giving the details. That, okay, this work is mine, but now it is your property. So any problem comes with the plagiarism part, the publisher has the authority to go to court and sue anybody. So this is something which is very important. Self-plagiarism, we don't think it is plagiarism, but it's a very important part. So there are a lot of tools, anti-plagiarism tools like plagiarism.org. Turnitin is the most standard one, but because it's a paid one, most of them don't prefer it. But Turnitin is the most standard one. Then plagiarism checker is there, plagiarism detector is there, then dupli checker is there. Many are there. Urkund is there. There are many such plagiarism testing softwares which we can go forward with. How to avoid plagiarism? First of all, actually, I would just like to say that first you should have information of how the plagiarism software works, right? What I mean by information of how the plagiarism software works is that Many times plagiarism is detected by the software only if 6 continuous words are repeated. I'm just repeating it, especially for those who are new to research. The others might be knowing it. But agar 6 words, 6 words continuously are repeated by you without acknowledging the source, then that is directly plagiarism. So in that case, first you have to understand how the plagiarism software is checking your software for plagiarism. So that needs to be broken up. So whenever you are getting the results of plagiarism, you will see that, okay, 6 words are continuously highlighted, or maybe more than 6 are continuously highlighted. Then you will have to make a change in the sequence of that sentence. How to remove the plagiarism is, you can easily change the sequence from active to passive, and you can break the formation of that continuous 6 or 7 words that are together. You have to separate it. Make it 3 words this side, 3 words that side, in between some other words. That is fine, right? Normally this is not preferred, but I'm saying this because most of the people in uh, India are facing this problem where they don't know authentically how to remove plagiarism. So again, this is also a business, that if I don't know how to remove plagiarism, but I want to submit the paper within 2 days and plagiarism is 75%, I give it to XYZ agency, which charges 1,500 from me and then removes plagiarism and gives me the paper. This is again a practice which is being adopted by most of the people. So this is also not ethical in the real sense. So first thing of avoiding plagiarism is knowing how the software anti-plagiarism software works. So once you go through the plagiarism tool, how it is working, you'll be able to identify that not more than 6 words should be together. You have to break it up. Now, when you break it up also, what happens is that 3 words are there, which are from a same source, right? But those 3 words also would be coming under plagiarism if you are not citing it properly. So you have to provide citations, right? So first is information about how the plagiarism software works, that you need to be understood. Second is, if you understand that, second thing you can do is, for less than 6 words, whatever plagiarism is coming, for that you will have to put proper citations. Now normally what happens is that most of the people, what they do is that they put the citations or references at the end. It should be as the paper is prepared, right? Kafi bar ye, I mean, I've seen this, that first 1 is there, then 17 is there, reference is there, then 13 is there, then 2 is there. So that cannot be possible when you're citing it in your paper. It has to be in a sequence. So many of the journals reject this because the references are not cited in sequence. In sequence means first reference, second reference, third reference, that order should be followed. So this is something which is actually a problem. So that needs to be identified. Third thing, how you can remove the plagiarism is that if you think that this particular sentence is very important for me, I cannot remove it from my paper, then you can give quotations in which you can put those papers. Quotations means what? That double quotes, exclamation, double quotes that you normally use for any kind of quotations you're giving. Same thing you can use, so that that part is not covered in the plagiarism, because that will not be checked. Yeah. So that can also be checked, and you can give a citation for that also, so that would also not be coming under the plagiarism. And last thing which you should be doing is paraphrasing. Okay, anybody who knows what is paraphrasing?
Sir, can I say, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So the same thing that you said, that if a sentence is an active voice, it has to be changed in passive voice. Or for example, Krashen said, but I will change it according to Krashen. So something like that, which breaks the pattern, that is known as paraphrasing. And there are many online websites. Quibolt is there. To some extent, they are free, but after that, they are paid. But sir, my question to you is that even if I am submitting my paper for Turnitin, sir, and if I have given proper reference to them, still they are telling that I have done plagiarism. And then when I told that why then no, you have to do the paraphrasing. So for paraphrasing, they are again telling that pay us 6,000 rupees. Your paper, we will do the paraphrasing, and then it will be, we will give the report of 0% plagiarism, sir.
No, this is actually, I
Thank
told
you,
you,
sir.
this is a business. Actually, whenever you go for your submission, before submitting the paper to any journal, just make sure that you have a Turnitin plagiarism report generated. Urkund is also fine in most of the cases, but most of the reputed journals ask for Turnitin report, and they will be checking in Turnitin only. So if you are having a plagiarism of less than 20% in that case for most of the journals, as per their plagiarism percentage, if it is less than 20%, then they are supposed to accept it. Second thing which is very important is that even if the entire plagiarism is less than 20%, but if your single source plagiarism is more than 5%, then that is also not accepted. That means total 20% plagiarism is there, but from one source you have copied 8%. So that is not allowed. It should be below 5%. So that is one criteria that they follow for rejecting the paper or for sending it back because of plagiarism issues. Second thing, as you said, that this is a business. For them, this is a business because see, you are under pressure. This is all psychological things that are working out. You are under pressure to get they check what is your urgency. If you want it urgently published within 1 or 2 months, they charge for it. They tell you that these are the problems in your paper. We will get it modified. You pay this much. So that business is going on. Now, if you feel that your plagiarism is not as much as they are saying, then if you have the Turnitin report with you, you can trace your plagiarism, where which source, how much plagiarism is there, and total what is the similarity index. So that can be measured by you itself. That can be seen by you also. So there is no need of any kind of payment to be made if you are sure that your plagiarism is comparatively less than what they are saying. But you have to be sure about your plagiarism level through the Turnitin report first.
Thank you so much, sir, for this valuable information,
Yeah.
sir.
And Turnitin report, actually, again, the problem is that you'll have to find a source where you can get the report done. Otherwise, there are some people who you may pay some nominal charges and they may give you the Turnitin report also. That also is there, but that is preferable compared to giving 6,000 to somebody to remove the plagiarism.
No, sir,
So
the same, sir. I have checked, sir. There is one lady, and they are only managing Turnitin or some other sites. And in the beginning, they are charging minimum 99 rupees or 59, something like that, for the initial checkup. And later on, they give you the report that so many things have been plagiarized, this thing and that thing. And then, if you want it the report to be less, then pay us this much. I have checked in 2, 3 websites, sir. It's the same person who is managing everything, and I was really dumbfounded that how come a single person is in charge and taking care of all the plagiarism reports on site. So maybe I made a mistake, and I am unaware of the right place, authentic place where I can do the checks, sir.
right. And one more thing which I would like to tell you along with plagiarism is that selection of a journal. Normally UGC CARE, Scopus Index, there are a lot of cloned journals which are being, I'll show you the demo of the cloned journal also. So you'll be able to clearly identify which journal to publish also. But just going a little bit into this, how to avoid plagiarism. As I told you, there are 4 basic techniques where you can, now paraphrasing is what, that you are writing the entire paragraph. You have read the paragraph or you have read the paper of somebody else, and you are trying to put the idea in your own words without copying any sentence directly from there. So that is called paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is accepted subject to that you acknowledge the source, right? Paraphrasing does not mean that you do not give any citation to the source from where you have taken the content, because that can also be identified. That will also lead to plagiarism. But paraphrasing is more preferred because you are writing in your own words. Another thing is that for reducing plagiarism, some people have do it in Google Translate, or there are some tools also, and Google Translate is also there, where you can translate into different languages, and then ultimately you can translate it back to English, and then you will get a different version of the sentence. So that is also there, but then I'm not in favor of that. That is only for those people who have a lot of problems in English and they are not able to prepare sentences properly. For them, it is fine. Otherwise, I would advise that you do your own plagiarism reduction on your own without taking any services or any help from any others. So attribute references, if you have given, then if you're attributing the references from where you have taken each details, then plagiarism would be less. Describe all the sources of information in the references, that would reduce plagiarism. Give acknowledgements wherever required, right? There's no harm in giving an acknowledgement to somebody from them where you have taken the content. Provide footnotes where you can provide the footnotes of some related criteria, so that that can also be counted as the source from which you have taken. Use quotation marks, as I told you. Paraphrasing and quotation marks I've already told you. For extensive quotations, obtain permission from the publishers of the original work. Now this is very important. See, in most of the credible publications, like suppose if I say the image quality is not good, or if you have placed the image of a person, you have taken it from net, but still if that person's image is there, you have to take permission from the publisher of that particular image. You have to take permission before submitting it for your particular journal where you're submitting. Otherwise, publisher, the journal may reject your paper because they may feel that this particular image of a person is there. Now that is not, permission is not taken from anybody. So later on problems may come. So they may reject your work. So that is the reason why either don't keep any an image from the net directly where a person is involved, or if you are putting it, you take the permission from the publisher who has originally published the work. Self-plagiarism can also be avoided because you have written, suppose I have written a paper which is published in IGI Global, and tomorrow I am publishing, sending a paper to maybe Springer for publication where I have self-plagiarism, I have given my own plagiarism. I can take permission from the publisher that this is the, I am the author and I need to this portion to be reflected in this paper. So if the permission is granted, plagiarism can be avoided. So these all things are very much required. As I told you, obtain permission for use of published drawings or other illustrations. So any illustrations, actually better part would be that if you can make your own drawing or illustration, that would be better. Now, how you can do it? For that, again, there are a lot of infographic tools, right? There is a separate topic in research called infographic tools, where you can have such packages like Canva, etc. are there, where you can prepare your own image. It will help you to prepare it. So you don't have to actually directly take it from another source. You can prepare your own image, and that would be plagiarism free. Now, these are some punishments, as I told you, that some reputed people from academics have faced a lot of problems because of plagiarism. These are all old things. A lot of new punishments are also coming, right? And this is how you can convert it, right? I'm not going into this because this is paraphrasing where we have plagiarized paraphrase we have prepared. So see, I'll just give you the first example here. Japan's beautiful Mount Fuji last erupted in 1707 and is now classified as dormant. Dormant volcanoes show no signs of activity, but they may erupt in the future. Now, this is the quote, direct quote from the research. And you can prepare a non-paragraph plagiarized paraphrase by writing it like Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan, right? Now, see, you have added some content on your own, but it is changing the entire thing. And then you can give a reference citation over here that this is the source from which I have taken the reference. So this can be done. So this is the better way of actually avoiding plagiarism, right? Now, this is, you can also include a bibliography normally, which is not included by most of the people. These are the citation styles. I'm not going into it. But what we need to do here is that best way to avoid all this is that if you are working regularly for your work, then there is no chance of plagiarism coming into your work. It is only when the time allotted by us is less for research that plagiarism comes. So you're not discussing your research progress, you're hiding it. You don't have a group. As I told you that when I was doing research at that time, I contacted 200 people, only one responded. At that time, if 100 would have responded, then probably the results would have been quite different than what I've done. It would have been still better. What I mean to say here is that here there's no discussion. Suppose if I am a psychology doing some PhD in psychology, I'm not connecting with 10 people from different countries for my research. So my research is Indian oriented. It's not globally refined research. So this is the problem that is coming because we don't have global interest groups being created. We are just doing our work. We want the degree. That is it. So this is what is lacking in current research. So you need to build a research group that can be through ResearchGate, through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very nice option where you can join in different groups where research related talks are there and you can be a part of it. There are many such schemes also. Now, see, I'll just like to go to this particular site. Okay, is the UGC site visible here? UGC CAT? Okay,
Sorry, PPT is visible, sir.
yeah, I'll just stop. Yeah, now
Yes, sir.
UGC CAT. This is actually the official site where you can check for the UGC CAT list. Many of the people are not aware about this. That's why I thought like maybe you may get some information about what is plagiarism, what is this, but this information is very important and I would like to cover it at least 5 minutes or 10 minutes if possible. List of clone journal is there, group 1, group 2, and UGC CAT list is there. Now I can log in also here. I can log in. It will ask me whether I'm a robot or not. I'm not a robot, so I'll just log in. Yeah. Now I have logged in. Now this is the list of clone journals, group 1, group 2. Now, along with this, there is also all this information provided here. This is the UGC CAT list. You can search it. You can do a new submission if you want. Group 1, I'm just clicking on this. Now see the difference here. This is the print journal and this is the cloned journal, which is not included in the UGC CAT list. See the name, title of the journal, ABRU, AABRU. Here it is AABRU journal. Language here, original is Punjabi. This is a print journal. This is not an online journal. And here it is Punjabi and English. And here publisher is Baljit Singh Raina. And here also publisher is shown as same. ISSN number, again same. URL is not available, but here URL is available. Now what happens is that if we check for this ABRU online on Google, then it will show you the URL of this journal. So you'll click on this and then you will follow whatever is said in that particular website. So you may end up paying money and publishing in a journal which is not a UGC CAT journal. And some people may accept it also, some universities may accept it also because they don't have a mechanism of checking it. But if it is not accepted, you will be at a problem because you have paid the amount also, you have published your paper also, your hard-earned paper, your hardly that you have put in a lot of effort for making the paper, and that paper has been published but in a non-UGC CAT journal, in a clone journal. So this is something that you need to take care of. This entire list is there, right, where they have given exactly what is the cloned version. Normally most of the cloned versions are having their own website. Whereas the actual journals, print journals, they are not having their websites. So URL is not available. So you cannot contact them through website. So again, this can be a problem, right? Second is for Scopus. Okay, now see in Scopus, you can do an author search, you can do a source search. Suppose I'm searching for a particular journal. Now it will show me a lot of journals here. Now I'm just, say, let us see any one journal, say clinical research. Let me just try this. I don't know whether it is a journal is available or not, but I'm just trying this. See, climate change. Let me select that. Now see, this is a climate change journal that is being shown here. Now site score is there, highest percentile, citations, documents, what is the percentage cited, everything is being shown. But I want to check whether it is presently there in Scopus or not. Publisher is Springer Nature, so it is a part of Springer Group. ISSN number is also given. Yes, ISSN number is also given. Climatic change is the topic of the journal, name of the title of the journal. Scopus coverage years. This is very important. Whenever you're checking for any journal, just check this 1977 to present. Many times it happens that it shows you in the Scopus journals. But when you click on that, here it is showing 1977 to 2020. 2020 it has been discontinued. So even if you publish in that journal, if it is discontinued already, then it will be showing you over here. Then even if you publish in that journal, your paper would not be counted as a Scopus publication. So this is something that you need to take care of. Here again, there are a lot of clonings being taking place because climatic change, if I just copy this from here, type it in Google, and then I'll get a lot of options. So from there, if I go to any particular website, it may be a cloned one. So better it is that you go through the source homepage. Here there's a source homepage. Is it visible here?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
So source homepage, if you click, it will be directing you to the source homepage. From there, you can get the complete information about what it is, right? So then you can go ahead about how to access, what to do, etc. All this information is given. So the problem here is that due to lack of time, due to lack of knowledge, we end up doing a lot of things which ultimately force us into something where we are frustrated in research because we feel that okay, we did so much work and we wanted to publish, but it is not being published here. So these are all problems that are being faced by most of the researchers, and they end up even discontinuing their research because they feel that their work has not been, or they feel that they are not apt for research because they have been cheated. Some feel that they have already paid a lot of amount, so now they don't want to be paying any amount. So all these are problems which most of the people are facing, and this is something which we should be taking care of when we are publishing our work, because it's our hard-earned work. We have worked. Say suppose if I have worked 3 months for a paper or 4 months for a paper, I don't want it to be easily published in somewhere where I don't get any credit for it. So just take care about this, avoid plagiarism, keep it as low as possible, and don't go for shortcuts in publication or in preparing research paper. This is a small advice from my end because I've seen a lot of people who have been cheated because they have gone for such shortcuts, and they ultimately end up losing money and losing their literary work also. So with these words, actually, I think I'll sum up my presentation, and if there are any queries, I am open to it. If there is any experience also anybody wants to share, they can share. It will be a knowledgeable thing for the others.
Thank you so much, sir. Very nice, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Participants, if there are no queries, we can wind up the session. Is there any query? Do you have any question to ask? If you have any doubt, you can clear it. Sir has shown you the page itself and how you need to go to home page and all. So is there any doubt for anyone? Nadia ma'am. So now it's time to give vote of thanks. I'd like to invite Mrs. Nadia ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, to give vote of thanks. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. An attitude of gratitude brings great things. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of SRM Institute of Science and Technology and the entire fraternity of the institution, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to Almighty. On my own behalf, I extend my gratitude to the chief guest who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. We are really enlightened by your presence, sir. Once again, thank you, sir, for spending your valuable time with us, sir. We are
Thank you,
very
ma'am.
thankful to our director, Dean, VP Academic, VP Admin for their motivation and support. I take this opportunity to specially express my deep regards and gratitude to our HOD in charge, Dr. Emmanuel, for always encouraging us and providing opportunities to organize such events. I also extend my sincere thanks to our department faculty members and all volunteers for their unflinching support and coordination. I once again thank everyone whose contribution has made this Day 10 a successful one. Thank you all.
Yeah,
you,
just
ma'am.
I would just like to add one thing. Actually, one of the questions asked in the chat box was regarding the UGC website link. So I've just shared it in the chat box. Those who want, they can just refer that. ugccare.unipune.ac.in. So you can just check in the UGC site before actually submitting any publication, so that you can get it verified again. Same way for Scopus also, the same thing. Thank you very much for inviting me for this session, and I again wish all the researchers, all the audience, all the best for their research endeavors, and also wish the management as well as the organizers. I would like to request them to organize many such workshops, which can be very useful for all the researchers, because this is something which needs to be passed on to as many people as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Participants, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we'll meet again. Can we fill the feedback form? Thank you.
Thank you so much.